Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mary and Jerry podcast. I'm Mary.
I'm Jerry.
And we're so glad you're here.
It's quite the intro.
So when you guys, when this podcast drops on August 6th, it will be our 35th wedding anniversary.
That's right. 35 years.
How many presidents, Jerry?
7.
7 presidents.
7 presidents. See, I was waiting to see if you're going to ask me that because you're like, you always do that.
You always do 7 presidents. Okay, so we thought we would share with you some of our most memorable anniversary celebrations.
Cool.
Because, we've had 35 of them.
Yes.
And some of them have been pretty memorable.
That makes us like seasoned and experienced, right?
Yes, we are like a fine wine, my friend.
I prefer to think of it as a fine bourbon, but okay. Whatever works for you.
In a what? What kind of cask?
Oh, definitely in the brandy cask. That's
in a brandy cask?
Bourbon, yeah.
Okay.
But I digress.
That's excellent. Okay, so let's tell some stories, Jer.
Okay, you go first.
I go first?
Because I have the best one, so you go first.
Well, what if it's the same one?
Then I get to go first because it was mine.
Okay. First of all, anniversaries are really special. Our best friends, Deacon Marks and Christine, always, when we were in the midst of really difficult times in our marriage.
Wait, when have we not been? Okay.
Right now is pretty nice.
Yeah, comparatively, it's all relative.
There's been some pretty nice moments. But they showed us through practical example that they always treated their wedding anniversary as really special.
Made it through another year.
Well, no, that's not. They would get dressed up. They would go to a lovely dinner. And even when there were seasons in their lives when they couldn't afford a lovely dinner, I remember one year where their kids made dinner for them and they, dressed up in white shirts and black pants and, acted like the maitre d's and the waiters, and it was really sweet. And so in the beginning of our marriage, we really didn't, our anniversary came and pretty much the checklist was, I didn't cook dinner and we had sex.
I'm sorry, your point?
If you were, actually in the beginning, if you were even home for it.
Yeah. Now, to be fair,
yes,
going out to dinner when Courtney was alive was a logistical challenge because you couldn't just find your local neighborhood teenage babysitter for Courtney. So in my defense...
Oh, I wasn't attacking. I was just simply stating.
You were simply pointing out the facts. Yes.
No, but what we did when Courtney, for those 22 years that Courtney was alive, probably the first 15, we would order in.
Yes.
We would that would be a treat for us. We'd order in and we talk about our wedding day. And sometimes we'd look at our wedding pictures and how thin and young we were.
And hairy. I had hair back then.
So much hair. And then after, Courtney was in her teenage years, my mom would come and stay with her for, a couple of hours with
That's
Jonathan.
right. We could escape for a couple of hours.
And so we would go out to dinner. Sometimes we go to dinner and an actual movie. That would be really special. But really, it's since in the last 9 years that we've been able to kind of celebrate our anniversary in a very different way, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Very different way, baby. That's right.
So Jerry and I are not the same people. We don't like the same things. When we think of a relaxing day, when I think of something special that I want to relax, I think I want to go to the spa, or I want to have a massage, or I want to go for a long walk by the waterfall. This is not what Jerry thinks of when he thinks of a relaxing situation. So, Jerry, what would you find relaxing?
I like to go to battlefields.
Jerry likes to go to battlefields.
And walk battlefields.
And walk battlefields. Now, our anniversary is August 6th, the Feast of the Transfiguration.
Oh, yeah, we were transfigured.
We were very transfigured, and we didn't even know it was the Feast of the Transfiguration when we got married.
You were the cradle Catholic. I'm just saying. I was Lutheran at the time, so I got an excuse. But
I didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
But the Lord has certainly transfigured us over the course of 35 years. Okay, so Jerry loves to go to battlefields. All right, so here we are. We're at year number, was it 32 or 34?
32, baby.
Year number 32.
That's right.
And Jerry, it's his turn to plan the anniversary celebration.
Oh, I planned it all right. Like Grant taking Richmond, baby.
Which means I get to be surprised.
We
Now, there are several rules to me being surprised, yes?
which well, that really doesn't make it a surprise
No,
if you
no.
set rules.
I set rules, but I don't know they don't know the details. For example, there will be, if I can get it, a one Michelin star meal. There will be, if we actually go somewhere overnight or for the night, there will be adequate accommodations to my bougie liking, which is not a Motel 6. Okay.
Yes, you are very bougie in that.
Only in my old age. In my young years, we stayed at many a Motel 6, but we can afford now to stay at a nicer place. And what else? And there has to be like a really nice drink.
Okay.
Involved, because I don't drink, but maybe twice a year.
Okay.
So those are the rules.
Right.
So I gave you the rules on our 32nd wedding anniversary.
That's right.
And what did you do with those rules, Jerry?
I planned the best anniversary ever.
According to Jerry, yes.
Well, did I meet all your requirements?
Yes.
Thank you. So here was my plan. So there are a lot of battlefields around here in Northern Virginia. So I said, we're just going to go for broke and we're going to do 3 in one day. That's right. 3 Civil War battlefields in one day, which fortunately is good because they're all geographically located together. So I got us a reservation at a bed and breakfast in Fredericksburg. I got us dinner.
So the bed and breakfast was some very historic home. Right. Do you remember?
Right.
It was built in like the 1700s.
Yeah, it was right in downtown Fredericksburg. I think
right
there
on
was
the water.
a sign that said, George Washington slept here and stuff.
He actually did, I think.
So got reservations at the bed and breakfast, got reservations at an Italian place. See, this is back when the day when you could call it the bed and breakfast. You tell them what you want, and they're like, okay, I need flowers, I need chocolate, I need a dinner reservation. And they're like, oh yeah, we can do all that. Excellent. Thank you.
I know that the bed and breakfast took care of all of it for you.
That's why we went to the bed and breakfast. I said, here's my credit card number. Take care of it. So.
And this is the first time you've ever planned something of that scale.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it was awesome. So we get up in the car. We get up in the morning. Now, remember, this is before the Magsters showed up. So we were free and clear, right? Jonathan was capable of taking care of himself and not burning down the house. So we're
he was working. He was doing whatever.
We're like, yeah, son, we're going to go out for our anniversary. We'll see you Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
He's like, cool.
I think he had a gathering of his friends that night.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. The parents are leaving. So we went down to Fredericksburg. So the first place we went was the Wilderness.
It was Wilderness. All right. Now, ladies,
I did tell, in fairness, told you to bring sunscreen, a good hat, and a good pair of shoes because there would be hiking.
Okay. It's my 32nd wedding anniversary.
That's right.
And this tells you, my dear, how much I love you.
Yes.
That I would agree.
You didn't have a choice.
To go out.
It was my plan. We were executing you were just along for the ride.
Sweetheart, I always have free will.
Well, that's true.
Okay. So, yes, I had to agree. But here's the thing. So you and I like very different things. We've always been very different people. You being the grouchy historian, this was important to you. Here's what I love. I love that you love history, and that when you speak about history and you're in this place of history, like your face lights up like a 5-year-old boy in a candy shop. And so here I am in shorts.
With good shoes. And a water bottle.
And a wide-brimmed hat. Jerry calls it my Bo Peep hat. He keeps looking for my sheep. And we are standing in the midst of literally the wilderness, which is woods.
Hence the name.
I smell like bug spray. And you have lines on your face of sunscreen. I mean, it was sexy, people. Sexy. And here's Jerry talking about, what are those mounds of dirt called?
What?
The dirt works. What are those called?
The earthworks? The fortifications?
Earthworks. Right. There were still earthworks, which basically looks like a bunch of ants made a huge mountain.
Well, that's what they did.
In a row.
Yeah. And that was just the first battlefield. And we hiked the loop, didn't we?
Yeah, it's called the Loop. Do you want to know how long the Loop is, people?
It's about a mile.
On August 6th,
Yeah,
which
but it was
is
early in the morning.
98 degrees and 112 billion% humidity.
But you got the actual experience of what those Civil War soldiers would have experienced, and you were in a hat and shorts and good shoes.
Please tell me, dear sir,
Yes.
husband of mine,
Yes.
how is that romantical?
Because we're together.
We're together. We were together, all right.
So
So we walked through the wilderness, y'all. Be
And
proud of
then-
me. And then
we went to the second battlefield out to Chancellorsville. And then, of course, Chancellorsville is a really big battlefield. So you have to drive all the way out west to where Jackson launched his flank attack on the second day of the
it's
battle.
all about Jackson and his flank.
Yeah. So we went out there. Now, that was driving, though. We didn't do as... See, now, I'm smart enough to know my honey lamb. The second battlefield was less hiking than the first.
This is
because
true.
We drove that.
And you had snacks in the car.
I
We had
se-
charcuterie out of the
Right,
cooler
you have to have snacks. You have to have water. I know
with
my...
lemon
I know my honey lamb.
and ice. He did a very good job.
There
So
must,
then
there must be snacks and there must,
there must
be
be
water.
snacks. And so we went through the Chancellorsville battlefield. And again, like I said, watching you, I was asking all the right questions. We learned all about hooker, where the word hooker comes from.
That's right. History is a fascinating
Okay,
thing.
so tell them the story of where does the word hooker come from, Jer?
So General Joseph Hooker was the Union commander at Chancellorsville. And Hooker loved the ladies, and the ladies loved Joe. And so Joe had what you would, I guess, in those days call camp followers, which his troops started to call hookers girls, and then they just shortened it to hookers.
And they met the needs of the soldiers.
Yeah, well, that's why they were called camp followers. But fun fact, there you go. See, a little history.
So we're in the middle of this field.
So soldiers don't change much, even over 200 years.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay,
So we're in the middle of this field, and he's explaining,
hookers.
and it's my 32nd wedding anniversary, and I'm like, great, we're in the middle of a field in Virginia talking about hookers. Yep.
I know.
I am thinking this is just
History is everywhere.
the most romantical
But wait,
moment of my life.
there's more.
And then we went to a graveyard.
Well, so then we went to Fredericksburg. So Fredericksburg was the last stop of the day, and I'll have to admit, by this time, even I was getting a little tired because it was okay. Not gonna lie, it was pretty hot, and is a long
But
day.
the graveyard there, this huge, beautiful
It's
historical
called a
graveyard.
cemetery.
Okay, cemetery is like on speed. It goes up the side of a
Yeah, it's
mountain
called
of a
Mary's
hill.
Heights, which is the primary feature of the battlefield at Fredericksburg. See, now we're back in the town, right? See, so smart. You go all the way out and work your way back in. So now we're in Fredericksburg. So we go to Fredericksburg, and then my honey lamb's like, okay, where are you taking me to dinner? It's time.
Your honey lamb was done.
Done.
She done be roasted on the spit of life.
So,
And so he takes us
you
to
tell
this.
this part where we
Okay.
go to the bed and breakfast.
So we go to the bed and breakfast.
Mhm. And what we-
Beautiful, beautiful bed and breakfast on the water.
That's right.
He made me wait outside the room because he wanted to make sure it was all set up just perfectly. And it was. So he's waiting in the room. He opens the door. He says, okay, open your eyes. I walk in. There's these beautiful long stem pink roses,
boom.
because pink roses was the first flower he ever got me for my 21st birthday. He bought me pink roses.
See, who says I'm not sentimental?
I didn't say you weren't sentimental. I
Okay.
said romantical is sometimes a challenge for you.
Oh, okay.
So there they were. And then when we were first married, we had like zero money. And a big treat for us on date night was chocolate covered strawberries. And there were a dozen chocolate covered strawberries on a beautiful porcelain
The
plate.
bed and breakfast folks did a fantastic job.
And then they were right next to a beautiful bottle of whiskey, which was waiting in the decanter for you.
That wasn't whiskey, it was
No, there was champagne next to the bed.
Oh, there was
There
champagne
was whiskey
somewhere.
there. Yeah. So then
Okay, so
it's
tell them
hot,
what
so we're gonna-
happened next.
Okay, I'm getting there. Long story longer.
Mm-hmm.
So we showered because it was, gross. We were sweaty,
sweaty.
disgusting, and we were getting ready to go to the fanciest restaurant in this town. And so I bought a pretty dress, and I come out and I blow dry my hair and I get all prettified. And then I go to put on my shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and I sit on the bed.
And what did you do?
What did I do? I did nothing but sit on the bed. The bed decided it had enough of people sitting on it. And the wooden bed frame.
There was a snap.
There was a snap. And I fell into the bed. The bed broke.
Yeah.
And it made a very large noise to the point where someone was knocking on our door quite shortly.
Yeah.
And I was mortified.
Because we had to go down to the front desk.
Well, yeah, and say we broke the bed.
We broke the bed.
But we didn't do anything to
yeah.
break the bed. They kept looking at us. They were like, "Oh, it's your anniversary weekend, huh?" And Jerry's like, "Yeah, she broke the bed. She broke the bed, sir." And I'm like 15
I had a big
shades of red.
smile. I'm
Jerry's like,
well, it really wasn't like that. And they're
it wasn't like
uh-huh.
that. They're like, sure, it wasn't.
So,
I mean, literally, this 19-year-old man-child is like, uh-huh. Sure, it wasn't. We'll get that fixed, sir. Don't you have dinner reservations? It'll be fixed by the time you get home. Get back, from dinner reservations. And he goes, and try to be a little less vigorous. What do you say?
Yep.
And I was like,
he didn't think the old folks had it in him. But
the
apparently
old folks didn't have him in him. The old folks had a fluffy woman on a bed with slats with dry rot, probably from the 1700s. And I just sat on the damn bed and it fell.
But it makes a good story, though.
So we go to dinner.
I'm sure we gave the bed and breakfast staff a chuckle. Hey, did you see, hear about the old folks in room 5? Broke the bed. So then where do we go?
In your dreams, we broke it that way. Anyways, so we go off to dinner, and it's a beautiful dinner. And I don't remember what the drink was called, but it was quite lovely.
It was something Italian.
Yeah, something.
With Prosecco or something.
With Prosecco. I know it was good.
But it was a lovely dinner.
And oh my gosh, it was so good. It was did we have pork?
I don't know. Whatever it was, you almost licked your plate. I'm just saying. We had appetizer, salad, main course. It was like one of those Italian dinners.
7-course dinner, yeah.
And you pretty much
I was so hungry.
Snarfed it all down.
Listen, I had been to not 1, not 2, but 3 freaking battlefields that day.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
Like, how can
I was there with you.
Ever question my love for you?
I don't question your love for me.
Anyways, so...
But it was awesome.
That was the 32nd wedding anniversary.
Okay, that's my favorite.
So then we come to the 33rd
Go ahead.
wedding anniversary. Was it the next year?
Which is what?
Gettysburg. Yeah, it was the next year.
Now was that anniversary or was that just a trip?
No, that was it. That was around. Well, we treated it like our anniversary. Or was that just a trip? I don't remember.
That was just a trip.
Anyways, he did a good job in Gettysburg as well. But
we went up for the reenactment on the reenactment weekend.
That's right.
And we stayed in a brand new hotel.
The Wyndham, yeah.
That had a cannon in the lobby. That was so freaking cool. They had a 12-pound cannon in the lobby. This is the best hotel.
And we have a picture
ever.
of Jerry sitting by the cannon in the living room.
And we walked out and we went.
This is when I heard cannons live for the first time.
That was the cannons. That was
I almost
awesome.
died.
So they were going to do an artillery demonstration. So they had literally 12 cannons lined up. And of course, everybody's standing around going, oh yeah, they're cannons, whatever. Now, of course, I know
Jerry's
what's
ready.
About to happen.
The rest of us are not.
So Mary's standing about maybe 100 feet from
close.
one of the cannons. And all of a sudden they just rip down the line. Because they're demonstrating what the bombardment
How
would have
high did
been
I
like.
jump?
Oh, you almost jumped out of your shoes, and
I screamed.
I might have laughed a little bit, which is probably not the best thing to do, but it was pretty freaking hysterical because you're just like...
My heart was pounding. I have never heard something so loud in my life.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
This is awesome.
This is pretty cool. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so that is Jerry's favorite anniversary story. This year, as this podcast drops, we will be in I got to plan this year's anniversary.
Right.
So our best friends, Christina and Marks, their daughter, Tori, got married yesterday. When you're hearing this, she got married the day
So
before.
we kind of had like a pre-anniversary party.
Right. So we will have been on the dance floor. And then this morning after Mass, we renewed our vows.
Well,
we are going to renew our vows because we're pre-recording this about a week before. And then we're going to high tea.
That's right, Drew. I shall properly extend my pinky
That's
while
right.
drinking my tea.
We've never done anything like that. And I'm like, let's go to the really fancy high tea in downtown DC. So we're going to do that. And then you have dinner reservations for us. So
That's right. There will be meat
Yeah.
because after eating cucumber sandwiches, I will be hungry. So we will have to have meat
Anyways, and we'll be home this year. So I'm expecting,
because we're recovering from a wedding.
I'm expecting big things. There should be flowers. There should be candles. There should be all kinds of stuff. You know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a hint? That was a hint. Ooh, that was very subtle.
And I look forward on our next podcast of letting you know how well it went. So,
or a future podcast.
A future podcast, yes. So, okay. So being different people, we celebrate differently. But here's the thing. When I fell in love with you, I knew this about you. I didn't know exactly how passionate you were about history. I just knew you kind of loved it. And so, just like I said, like I've said before, my mom used to say, watch what he does now because, he's going to be doing this for the rest of your life. So what is your next great? So next year for our anniversary, it's your turn to plan it. Do you have thoughts?
That's a year away. No, I don't know. Even I can't plan that far ahead.
I would love to be in Normandy. That would be pretty awesome.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that works.
We tried, but it didn't work this year.
Well, we'll see.
Or last year.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Anyways, that's our favorite anniversary.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. What's our worst anniversary?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, we had a lot where we just kind of ordered out.
We got pizza.
Got pizza, and that
Called
was
it good.
Called it good. I don't know if we've ever had like a worst.
We've been separated for our anniversary many times, so I would imagine I would consider that like a worst.
Yeah.
We were never in the hospital with Courtney for our anniversary though.
I don't think so. I recall.
I think we managed to avoid that. We usually hit it on Labor Day, but not during
August. No, I don't recall that. So
here's the takeaway, guys. Here's the wisdom here.
Wisdom.
You and your spouse are not going to love the same things.
And that's okay.
And that is fine. But you got to get on board to tolerate what they love because it's part of who they are. And so Jerry is really good. Dress shopping, shoe shopping. He holds my purse like it's his job. Wouldn't you say?
I have built up my tolerance. Yes. I mean, I do the spa. I do the spa.
We do the spa. You like that?
You.
What we went one year? We went down and saw Julia Childs at the her kitchen, which was at the Smithsonian, and they had just opened this, and that's what I wanted to do. It was my turn to pick, and so I went down. So there's Jerry standing in between the dinosaurs
and Julia Child's kitchen.
And he's like, this is an interesting anniversary. This is fascinating.
But
Mary. It worked. We did well. We went and had a lovely, that's when we went to that Greek restaurant downtown.
Oh,
that was so good.
With the little grape leaves. I love
we're kind of foodies, so you'll always hear about food
and
here.
And the baklava.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what would you, so since it's an anniversary post and we're talking about your favorite anniversary, which turned out pretty well for me too, except for that moment of embarrassment.
I call that a moment of glory. Yeah, we broke the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
What is your number one piece of advice that you would give to newly married couples?
I thought we were going to do like a whole podcast on this.
Well, we're going to give like marriage advice, I think, in general, but just for today, for today, what I mean, or maybe let's even bring it back to what is your number one piece of advice when planning an anniversary for your beloved?
Oh, so well, you do have to compromise. I mean, you have to have something for each of you, right? Which is why I was very careful with the battlefields. We had strawberries, we had champagne, we had flowers, we had a good dinner. And, hopefully you can you can find something fun that both of you can do. Remember that time that we took our little Padawans and we went painting? We went for a painting
Oh,
lesson.
we were invited by Sweet Tori and Andrew who are like 30 years younger than we are. And they're like, let's go and have a paint night, like one of those. It's at Muse is the
A
place.
little art studio where you can
where you can like you have take a class in painting. It's a one night class where you choose your canvas. And we chose Elmo.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Elmo on Fire.
Yep, Elmo on Fire. I'm like,
why did we choose that?
Because that was the painting that day.
That we felt like we could actually do. And so we went with these sweet young couple. I have never laughed so hard in my life. If you've ever wanted to see Jerry paint and try and be artistic, this is a man who in the 3rd grade cut off the legs to his turkey.
I make stick figures. That's the extent of my artistic. I taught like 4 years of theology for confirmation.
With stick figures.
I called it stick figure theology. And the students still talk about
when we see them.
Stick figure theology.
Yep. They loved your Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's right.
That's
baby.
legend.
It is legend.
Okay. So, make sure that there's that. So that's your advice. Make sure to find something that you're thinking about the other one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all about you. I mean, it's, it was mostly about me, but it wasn't all about me. I'll be honest.
I think I would agree with that piece of advice and kind of double down on that. And if there is a dream that one of you have had, right? And maybe you're finally in the season where that dream can come true. Like Jerry had always wanted to do these 3 battlefields together. And I was always like bitch and whine and moaning saying, no, that's too much. But he was able to create it and couch it in a way that I could deal.
You could deal.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I bribed you.
Yes, and it worked.
Yeah, I'm not
and
above
you got
bribery.
a great story out of it.
I'm not above bribery. I'm fine with that, actually.
I did remind you as we were going up Mary's Heights.
Yeah, how much you loved me.
How much I loved
and that you bore me 2 children. Yeah, I got it. So, hey, fun fact, because, we have a few minutes left. So now it's time for the newlywed game.
The newlywed game. Okay.
Okay. Now, how does this work? I'm going to ask you a question about me. And you're
going to ask me a question about you, yes, and you're going to see if I get it right.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one. What's my favorite meal?
Jerry's favorite meal is chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, and gravy with green beans or corn on the cob, followed by either blueberry cheesecake or blueberry pie, or a lemon meringue pie, depending on the season.
Correct.
Okay. What's my favorite meal?
Rouladen.
Which is?
The little rolled up meat with onions that you cook the poop out of.
What else is in there?
Well, gravy. Because
no, what else is in the rouladen? Not just onions.
Onions.
Are you kidding me?
Onions. Well,
your favorite thing on the planet.
Well, you said the Germans make it with pickles, but you don't make it with pickles. Onions. Oh, bacon. Duh. Sorry. You roll it up and then you cook the poop out of it, and then you serve it with.
I don't cook any poop out of it.
Well, anything. I mean, you cook it for long.
Yes,
long,
it's
long,
a low and slow simmer.
long time, and then you serve with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Right. My favorite dessert.
Oh. I lose. I don't know what your favorite. Chocolate
there
something.
You go. Something, yeah.
Chocolate something.
A flourless chocolate torte would be my favorite.
Or what is that? What is that death by chocolate cake you make?
It's called chocolate heaven.
Yeah, death by chocolate. Yeah, pretty much.
Very good. All right, so we'll do another question of the newlywed game. Jerry, what is my favorite summer fruit? I'm going to ask you easy ones.
Peach.
That's a good.
I have no idea.
Blackberries.
Oh, but blackberries are kind of year round.
No, they're not. They're at the height of their yumminess.
Okay, fine.
In July and August.
Okay, fine. Let's see.
Okay, hold on. I gotta guess your favorite summer fruit.
Oh, that's easy.
That's peaches.
Peaches. Duh. Okay, easy.
Any other questions?
No.
But you guys can send in your own newlywed game questions.
I do remember this is okay. Last thing, and then we got to. I do remember somebody's like, "Well, how do we know that we're really meant for each other?" And I said, "Well, how does your honey lamb take their coffee?" Now, see, my honey lamb has whenever we go to Starbucks or get coffee in general, it's a grande latte with whole milk and 1 raw sugar.
Correct. And Jerry's is a venti red eye with half and half and one Splenda.
So that's how you can tell that you're serious when they're like, honey, can you get me a coffee? And you know exactly what they
mean.
want, right?
Yep.
I mean, you don't even have to ask. You're just like, usual? Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All
That's
right,
love,
guys.
baby.
That's love, baby. So there's our favorite anniversary story. We'll have more to share, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
After we go to tea. I can't wait. Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things before we end our podcast. There is a way you can contact us. Do you have the...
You left your phone.
I did.
You left your phone. So now we're going to have to improvise.
Shoot.
All right, we're going to improvise, adapt, overcome.
It's 571-354-0351.
I'm
You
glad
can
you can
text
see
that
that.
number, or you can leave a message on that number. You can leave us a newlywed game question, or as we should say, not so newlywed game question. Or you can, ask us a question that you want to see answered here on the podcast, or recommend a subject that you'd like us to talk about. So we really like connecting with you guys. And we also have a Patreon page. That link will be in the show notes. And what are we going to talk about next time, my love?
Well, I think we should go back to the beginning.
Oh.
Talk about dating. Catholic dating. The state of Catholic dating.
Or the state of dating in general.
Our observations as experienced practitioners
of dating. Because, we still continue to date even though we've been married for 35 years.
That's right.
We're getting
we
good
have
at
a lot
it.
of observations.
We do. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining us on the Mary and Jerry podcast. I'm Mary.
I'm Jerry.
And we'll see you next time.